Who's ready to get a little workout? Yeah, right? How about that? We have 3 of the nation's top celebrity personal trainers sitting right in front of us here. So this is going to be 30 minutes of high energy, because that's what happens when you've been up all night. You start getting a little crazy, so I've already warned them. But we're going to really talk about how all of the stuff that the last panel brought to mind, that great discussion, what does it actually mean for you and you and you and all the people using it, right? Because as Tom said just a second ago, he says, this is all great, but how do people actually use it? Because one thing personal trainers haven't really told you yet is one of their biggest jobs now is going to people's houses and teaching them how to use this technology. Go figure. Okay, so hopefully you know me. I'm Jennifer Jolly, host of USA Today Tech Now. It's a digital lifestyle series on USA Today. Sitting to your right, my left, Tom Holland with Team Holland. Tom is an exercise physiologist, and God bless this. Tom, why don't you just go ahead and stand up for a second? Just God bless this pillar of health and fitness. He's done 21 Ironmans, blah, 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 and he still doesn't think that swimming is a sport, but rather a means to keep from drowning. And he still cries his way through Rudy. Just to know who you're dealing with here. Next to him, we have Nicole Nichols. Okay, my name is Jennifer Jolly, and yes, that is my real name, okay? Nicole Nichols, is that your real name?
It is, yes.
I finally got to ask somebody else that question. Nicole, fitness expert and managing editor of Spark People, the #1 weight loss and fitness site in America, named America's top personal trainer to watch by Ace and Life Fitness. And she's also one of the most prolific creators and hosts of fitness video. So Nicole lives her whole life in this whole digital technology arena. I mean, she really doesn't train people one-on-one anymore. It's all in this technology bubble. So she can give us a lot of really incredible insight of what works and what doesn't. Tell me I'm right.
You're right.
Okay, and do you have anything to add to that before we go on to Ben?
No, not really.
Okay, well, it'll come. It'll come. The embarrassing thing about Nicole will come. I mean, do you cry at Rudy?
It's a male thing.
Yeah.
It's
a guy
such
thing.
a guy thing.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Ben Collins on the end down there. Now, I knew who Ben was because I've been a weekend warrior triathlete. Ben is a professional triathlete, a mechanical engineer. He's an MBA student right now at Columbia University. Is that right? Yeah, Columbia University. Oh, geez. University of Chicago. He's a horrible sailor, but he does it anyway because he does think that swimming is a sport. He was the captain of his swim team in college. So I think that we should just settle this right now, once and for good. Is swimming a sport?
Swimming is the only real sport. It's.
Yeah, wow. I like that. Wow.
Sticking your face in the water and going back and forth for an hour. No thanks.
Let's just throw down over whether swimming's a sport right now. I mean, come on. Ben, going back to swim, Ben has a giant dog, a Rhodesian Ridgeback, who is his actual personal technology gadget because your dog makes you get up and run.
Without him, I would probably sit on the couch. But he
Real?
has to
No,
go
you
run.
wouldn't.
Maybe not, but he definitely makes me go a little bit faster.
So if only you could somehow package that up into a teeny tiny device that, I think that's next, right? Somebody's going to come up with that. So let me throw out this first question. How is technology changing the way that you approach fitness? How is technology, and because you're closest and I've teased you the most already, let me start with you, Tom.
It's such a huge question, Jennifer. I mean, I started in this business 20 years ago as a personal trainer, and there was no email, And the negative way I was thinking about this, that it's changed my business, is when you wanted to cancel a session, you had to call me. You had to call me, you had to talk to me and say, I'm not coming at 6 a.m. Now it's a text or an email. So it's a little worse on the exercise that it's really easy to get up at 5 a.m.
Right.
and go, Tom, I'm not coming.
Right, and you were the one telling me that you actually have to go to people's houses.
It's a whole new revenue stream is to go to people's houses and show them how to use their polar heart rate monitor, their Cyclops, So that's the big thing. As I listened to the panel before, this is great, but my master's is in exercise science and sports psychology because I realized a long time ago it's about motivation. This is all about motivation. I have watches that can go up my both arms. I'm not an Ironman, I'm not a marathoner, even though I've done a ridiculous number of races. I'm a fitness guy who has goals. And the technology helps me, because we're not motivated any more than you are. We've just figured out what to do to get us there. And the technology, I'm not.
That's not true.
Listen, if I didn't have, I have so many watches and gadgets because when I become bored, I need that new reason to go out, that new reason, the new data to see. So that's how technology I see, it has to motivate. VO2 max, most of you out there, have no idea. Heart rate, the fat burning zone. It's so complex for the average person, the majority of people. But I feel pretty cool going out and going, okay, I mean, all that my swimming watch does is tell me how horrible a swimmer I am, but it's still kind of fun. It's still kind of fun. So it's about motivation.
It is about motivation. And Nicole, let me take that right over to you. How do you motivate people when now so much of our lives are digital? You really don't see your clients face to face. It's all through the power of technology. How do you keep that motivation when that is such a personal thing?
Yeah, I think you just have to have a wide variety of options available for people. We talked about a lot of things on the last panel that I was watching as well, from the Nike Fuel Points to Fitbits to all kinds of things, and there is that one type of gadget that's going to work for that individual person. And as a trainer, it's changing the space a lot for us because we don't just have to be able to answer questions about how to get results or how to exercise. People are coming to us with questions about new devices. Do they work? How do they work? Are they accurate or not? So trainers are having to educate themselves as well on all this new technology so that we can then answer the questions that are coming to us. So I think that, you've been in it 20 years. I haven't been in it quite as long. I've pretty much been in a digital technological training world since day one. So for me, it's just the norm. But it's just really interesting to see how it continues to evolve even in just the last few years.
And that's a really good point. I mean, we're talking about a whole, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen way back like I am, and how do we evolve with our bodies, ourselves, our quantified self? And Ben, this really leads right into you. You're really an elite athlete. So you're talking about these gadgets helping you get that top 10% of peak performance out of your body.
Top 1/10 of a percent even. I mean, I'm looking at getting, I'm trying to be the best in the world at what I do, and that's the difference between me and the next athlete is so minute. We're talking about 15 seconds over the course of a 2-hour race, and how do you get yourself to be that much faster that you can be the winner instead of second place? And what technology does for me is, I've been sponsored by Garmin since I started in the sport, so,
You've
I'm
seen
in the same boat.
a huge range.
I've seen a huge improvement, but not in terms of the data that I'm collecting, but in terms of what I can do with it. Garmin Connect has come light years from what it was 4 years ago, where I can look at my data, and now there's analytic tools, and my coach can look at the data, and he can build a training plan online for me, and day to day that I can plan what I'm doing based on all of this data. So the heart rate monitor strap is more comfortable, the watch is smaller, the
watch is so much smaller.
Right.
Remember
It
those
used to be
bricks?
huge.
It's like the old cell phone brick that you used to wear, and it was all about GPS. But now,
and now we have all this and plus technology where everything is connected to my device. And when I finish my workout, now I can, with the newest Garmin device that just came out, I can press save activity. It goes through my phone and is instantly uploaded to the cloud, and my coach can see it 5 seconds after I finish the workout, or he can even track my workout live. I mean, the data that I'm collecting is the same, but it's what these devices do with the data that's really improving, and that's what helps me get the most out of it. That's what helps me plan what I'm going to do and get the most out of my performance.
what do the three of you think is the secret sauce when it comes to that one fitness gadget that works?
It's got to be easy. It's the
It
number
has to
one
be.
thing. It has to be easy. I mean, I don't want to read instructions. At Christmas, you get all this technology. You got a camera, you got a TV. I don't want to read it. I won't read it,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I feel badly for the technology guys who are designing stuff, but we're inundated with just information and instructions. And Garmin is so good. That's the newest thing. Before that, it was just the ant technology. You walked into your house, and it immediately sensed your watch and sent it right to your computer. So that is a necessity because people our attention spans are so short. And if you can't put that thing on and go out and use it, and we don't even care, they were talking about like the Nike Fuel points. I just want some kind of measure and something to measure it again the next time. That's all I want right now. Tell me how far I went, tell me how long I worked out, and next time I'll see if I can do better.
But what
It's
about
gotta
that
be easy.
person who's 300 pounds overweight, the morbidly obese? What is that data telling them? If it's not that top 10th percentile, how does that relate to the rest of us?
I think getting the data collected is important, but more than that, it's using the data. So the person who's 100 pounds overweight, 200 pounds overweight, if they have a way to analyze this data and know what it means, and right now I think that that's what the industry is lacking. I think that's the future of technology in sport is analyzing the data. So we now have, the speakers before us were talking about you can get VO2 max data in an earbud.
Yeah, what does that mean to me?
Remarkable.
Yeah.
That is, I could use that
Yeah.
for sure with what I do, but to have that technology where someone can, sit in the car talking on the phone and they're measuring their respiratory rate and heart rate. Basically at the end of the day, you can have not only how many calories you burned in terms of, with VO2 max data, you could have how many calories you burned in terms of fat, protein, carbohydrate. You could have a molecular breakdown of what you burned. And
But what am I? What are these folks going to do with that
Right.
data?
And exactly. And so somebody's got to look at that data, though. The average person can't look at the data that they get from that
And we don't
know
really
what to
care.
do.
We just want to look good in a dress at the end of the day.
Right.
Maybe not you,
And
sir,
so
but
whether
a
it's-
lot of us. That's
whether
what,
it's feeding that
yeah.
into a cloud where you have a personal trainer that's looking at it, or having algorithms that are built ahead of time so that it goes into a computer system and the computer tells you what to do or where you're lacking. These are things that I feel like we live in such a high-paced, fast-paced society that we eat and we don't think about how it's making us feel 30 minutes later. So now
Right.
we have devices on our phones that say, what did you eat? And 30 minutes later it says, how do you feel right now? And over time you can track your foods and how they make you feel. I think that's the future, is taking this data and really forcing it to make you think about how you feel with your normal behaviors.
Yeah, I was going to say, data alone really isn't enough for the average person. Like the three of us, we can buy a Garmin watch and strap it on and go running and understand it and know how far to run and create our own training program. But for the person you're talking about, 100 pounds overweight or more, they can get that watch and it can tell them things, but they don't know how to begin. The best type of device or whatever it is going to bridge the gap between here's data and here's how to begin applying that data, or here's a program that you can actually follow.
That's it. I think that the missing link is the program. It's like I do fitness videos and P90X style videos, and I'm amazed at the popularity of those, yet I'm not.
Tells you what to do.
It tells you, people want to
Yeah.
plan, so there needs to be a connection between the technology and a plan. Tell me what to do. So give me the Nike, Fuel, but tell me what to do with it. Tell me to get up tomorrow and go walk for 30 minutes.
And then the motivation piece, the
That-
why.
then it ca-
The tell me what to do, and then get my butt up off the couch to do it.
Right, and show me how I'm improving. Think of a scale. Scale's so easy. You get on a scale, tells you what you weigh, you get off it, you get back on it. It needs that simplicity. That's very self-explanatory. We need the same thing with the technology, where I think the future is getting people, fitness people, to design the workouts that get people out the door.
So
and then
is
using
this
the
being
ones.
done? Are you seeing it headed that direction?
A little bit, yeah.
Or do you wish
yeah.
you could go stop all those guys before they go on to their next thing and say, this is what you really need to do?
I think they'll get it,
Don't
yeah.
you also need a training plan that develops with the data? If you just have data and it doesn't change the training plan that you're doing, then what's the point in collecting the data? If you're still going to get up and do the same P90X workout that was planned for the next day, regardless of how the previous day went, then does that make sense?
We sell you a new plan in 90 days.
I think the trick is to have
Yeah.
a plan that evolves with this data. So if you have a great day, it says, okay, well, this is what you do tomorrow. And if you have a terrible day and you don't get any sleep, then it sees that data and says, well, no, you go to plan B now.
Ideally, that's the perfect plan, absolutely. But I think for most people to get started, they just want, get me started, get me out the door. I think we don't still understand the basics.
Right.
You're a high-level triathlete, and I coach people like you, but that's like 001,
Right,
right? With the
but
data.
isn't that just for everyone the way to avoid injury and avoid these setbacks? That I mean, so many people tell me that they want to run,
Right.
and they go out
But their
and
knees
in a
hurt.
week and their
Yeah.
knee starts hurting. And what do they? I mean, if you use this data correctly, you can actually predict these injuries ahead of time,
Right.
and modify your training plan so that these injuries
Right.
are less likely to happen. And this person doesn't get a week into a training plan and have to stop because their knee hurts.
That's really important. I hope you wrote that down because that's really a big key to all of this. And speaking of having you write it down, we are going to open this up for questions in about 2 minutes. So I've been asked to have you go to the back of the room so that Kyle can get to you with the microphone. We're going to have you come up here. And hey, I don't know if you noticed, but these guys are in workout clothes. So if you need them to show you something, demo anything, by all
it.
means. Yeah, prove it.
50 push-ups.
Yeah, right. Oh, don't eat.
Right.
Last question before we go to your questions is, and I told you guys I was going to put you on the spot with this question. Here it comes. Give one example of a product that totally failed. What's one of those things you thought would be brilliant but just bombed? No pressure.
Me first?
Yeah.
I don't have one. I mean, it's a tough.
yeah.
I'll just go to Garmin, and I'm not sponsored by Garmin, but what Garmin's done amazing. So I own every fitness gadget on demand. It's my business, so
Right.
it's what I do. But it's ones that are still sitting in my, that you use for a week, as they were talking about. If you're not engaged, and if it doesn't grow with you, Garmin has come out with a smaller, better one every year, and it's easy to use. And if I used one, Garmin is so good at getting people to buy the next one.
Yeah.
Granted, we're triathletes and we love that data.
And it's really expensive.
They're expensive,
Average
yet you
America
still
doesn't
get
want to
it.
spend more than $100
Right.
on a fitness gadget, period. It could just do all the work for you and we still don't want to spend
And
more
that's
than
the
$100.
great point, is when people ask me what kind of heart rate monitor to buy, I tell them to get the cheapest one, because they don't need all that functionality. I hate to say it, they just don't. Only someone like, Ben can really get the most out of that right now without a coach and the knowledge. So, I don't have one that's failed. I have ones that I use more than others.
I think you're
Failure,
wearing the most
success.
expensive.
Right?
Yeah, these are the Rolexes of fitness ones.
Nicole, what did you have high hopes and it just didn't meet your
I
expectations?
think failed is a really strong word because this is a pretty successful product, but one that I had really high expectations for was the Wii Fit. And it's sold really well, and there's a lot of people who use it.
My
And
mom
I've
in
tried several
Alaska
of the
used that
programs.
thing and lost 20 pounds. Of course.
But I always felt that it was just too complicated. Like they put too much gaming elements in. I just want to use the program. I don't want to have to try it for weeks and earn points and then unlock different things.
Right.
It was speaking to what you're talking about with
Plug it in
things
and
just
go.
being simple.
Yeah.
But I still think that more programs have come out for that have gotten better and been more simple, just straight fitness. And I think that's a really great innovation. And what was what? What
Well,
do you think is the best?
on that failure, what's just been just a overwhelming success in your mind? And I'm talking about for you, that one gadget that that's it.
Well, I'm a really big fan for the population that I work with online, which is, average American, needing motivation, just wanting to get fitter. I'm a really big fan of the Fitbit, which is simple. It is so simple. You can take it right out of the box. It's ready in, just a few seconds. But I think it has that really interesting kind of fun and motivational aspect where it's just about just move. Just do something. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be involved. You don't
flower
have to have all
grows,
this biometric data in order to use it. It's just this is how active you are, and you're going to set little goals, and you're going to continue to try to push yourself further.
We have questions, quick, but I'm not going to let you get off that easily. Very quickly, success, failure, or failure, success.
I mean, I think there's a long line of failed fitness devices that all have the same theme of they promise to do the work for you. So the electrodes that you put on your stomach to try and get better abs. I mean, these things don't work. And people make a lot of money every time they come out with these. But, I think any successful device, the root of it has to be motivation. It has to be bringing people together into a community where they feel like they're part of something, they're accomplishing goals, and they feel better and more connected because they're accomplishing their fitness goals. So I think Garmin Connect is a great example of that. I think that there's the fact that you can now tweet your workout. Personally, I don't like it when I
Yeah.
open Twitter and all of these tweets are workouts, but I think it's great that people are so excited by what they're doing that they're putting it online and sharing it with their friends.
It's gonna shame you to get in shape. Let's open it up to these folks. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Gene. I have a question about how you think about mood and what type of workouts that impacts, because a lot of the technology that I work on at Microsoft, it focuses on metrics, but we find that the emotional aspects and some of the qualitative aspects have a huge impact on people being able to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout your experience, have you seen that different workouts work better with certain types of moods that have helped your clients reach their goals?
Yes, the short answer is absolutely. That's the sports psychology. You know, we all know what to do, but how do we get to do it? And we were joking before, he's a short course guy, I'm a long course guy, and I'd say these guys are angrier than I am. It's much more painful to do a shorter race, I say. But yes, you know, on the days I say to clients, you know, it's like a great coach. There's no one size fits all. And as he was talking about, you know, workouts that grow with you, and that's why if you have a whole different repertoire of workouts, on a day you just feel like vegging, you go out and you just walk. On a day that you're angry, that's when you do your interval workout. So absolutely, the workouts need to be tailored to your moods, and that's what, you know, if I have a workout where I have to go, you know, I'm training for an Ironman, and it's a 100-mile bike ride the next morning, but I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to change it around.
But how does a fitness gadget link in and hook into your mood? How does this personal technology become truly personal? I think that's your question. I mean, is that your?
Yeah, like
That
have
we're-
you seen anybody that's managed to do it successfully?
No. No, and I think that's an amazing insight into when, you know, you wake up. The very basic, if you put a heart rate monitor on in the morning, we do that to see if our heart rate's elevated. If it is, that's the first sign of overtraining, so you may change your workout around that. So that's more, not so much mood, but body sense. But I think that's absolutely in the future. You know,
There's
they can sense.
a new Tink Sensorum. They're here somewhere that talks about your stress level.
Yeah.
And you know, you walk around with it, you plug it into your iPhone, and it tells whether you've had that elevated.
Says go for a run. You need
Yeah,
it.
or that elevated heart rate.
Right.
You know, the oxygen, all of that.
Right.
So we're starting to get there, but are people really using it? Do people know how to use it?
I use a website called RestWise that every morning I stick my finger in an O2
Yeah.
saturation sensor and I get my waking heart
So
rate.
what was-
And I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
you can
do that too, right?
you can throw all this data together and with various algorithms figure out your recovery state. And it's not exactly your mood that you're asking about, but it does give me a sense of how prepared I am for certain workouts, and my mood is strongly correlated to how much rest I've gotten or how, you know, close I am to illness. I find if I'm really upset about something, that's when I should go race. Because when I'm angry,
He is an angry
upset,
man.
yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if I'm really pissed about something and I go race, I'm just gonna lay it down and leave nothing left.
So folks out there in the development world developing these kinds of, remember this. If you have the happy meter, you're onto something.
I think there may be some programs, though, where you log in, if I'm not, you know, and it says, what's your mood today?
Yeah.
And then it gives you a
That's
workout
what I was
designed
gonna
for
say.
that. So it doesn't read your mood per se, you tell it.
It's self-reported.
It's self-reported, yeah. But that's absolutely the way, that's a great trainer. You know, you come to me as a client and I say, you know, how you feeling today? And you go, I'm tired. Well, we're gonna adapt the workout. If you say I'm angry, we're gonna adapt the workout. But you can choose that with certain programs now.
Yeah, that might be something that we really see in the future for sure.
Thank you. Michael's my name. As you said, a lot of your customers have asked questions about the technology, and you've been this counselor of how to use these new techs. There's, you know, it goes from the extreme of this tech is going to replace the role of the trainer, or it's going to go to virtual training. What advice do you have for trainers? What new skills, competencies should they be focusing on to not only remain relevant, but to give the most value to their clients?
Yeah, Nicole, that's
Yeah,
right up
that's
your alley.
I definitely don't think technology is going to replace, you know, fitness professionals anytime soon, but it is only going to enhance the ability of the consumer to have more options. So, you know, not every person can afford to hire Tom, you know, to train with them, but trainers are able to use this technology and consumers can use it as well. in almost any price point. So, you know, even at Spark People, all the fitness programs I do are totally free. And people can log online, they can get apps on their iPhones that might be $2 or something like that. There's something really for everyone. And similarly, people ask a lot whether, I've heard you've probably gotten the same question, whether even fitness DVDs are going to go away really soon, and it's all just going to be streaming on demand, everything's online. And I think we're getting closer to those types of things happening, but we're still quite a ways away. Like we were talking about earlier, there's that whole bridging of the gap of data and information that the average person doesn't understand, you know, heart rate and exercise physiology or developing a workout program.
And truthfully, most trainers don't also. I mean, I hate to
Many
be
trainers
you know,
don't
No,
as
that's
well.
really
There's not a lot of
But
trainers running around here.
There's always
There
going to
should
be a need for
Yeah.
fitness professionals who can relay and
Right.
kind of translate that information and make it more personalized. So I
So
can do
being
things
more
online for the
text-
masses,
right.
but more personalized, like even with Ben's types of training goals.
Right.
Technology alone is never going to be able to
Yeah.
replace
I'm gonna-
you know,
No.
someone at peak performance.
And I'm going to speed this up so that we can get to both of your questions, but definitely some tech savvy, a level of tech savvy has to be built into these personal training programs. That's really
Yeah.
another interesting
I
point.
think there's always going to be value in a human connection. I mean, I'm never going to replace my coach with a computer, no matter how
At least
advanced
not
the
in
technology is.
2013, maybe in
Right.
2014, but yeah. What's your question?
All right, my name is Denise Yan, and it's actually kind of a build on what you guys were just talking about. I think what would be helpful for you all to talk about to this audience is about the fitness training business and what opportunities are there for tech companies to reach into your certifying organizations, your training organizations, and get trainers knowledgeable about your products and how to use them, and even become reps, distributors, recommenders for our products, so that we are using you as a channel to reach our end consumers.
And I do think that there's a panel that addresses that exact issue. Yeah,
But real
let's
quickly, I think-
let's go
yeah,
quickly.
Just real quickly, you know, I only do a tiny bit of personal training now because you're limited by the number of hours in the day. The greatest thing for me was when Training Peaks, which is an online training platform, I now train people around the world. They just upload their workouts to me, so that opened it up. You know, so we want to expand our business. You know, if you only have 8 clients in a day, you make that amount of money. So tech companies need to show to these trainers, and again, trainers they're in the gym, so you got to get to them and teach them about this. And truthfully, not a lot of
You
them
have to
are
get
up
to
on this.
ACE, ACSM,
Yeah.
AFA, all of the fitness
And show the trainers they can make
organizations.
more money. Here's how
Yeah.
you can, I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day, right? So here's how you can get out of the gym and make money, you know, and train people around the world. And that's a
Yeah,
pretty
and I
amazing
feel like
thing.
Polar's been doing that for many years. They have fitness reps who are trainers in the gyms, and they're educated on the product. They can sell the product, and
Yeah.
it's a whole other extension of their business.
I think to her point, though, it has to go back to that American Council on Exercise, that American Academy of Sports,
Yeah, it's the
you
easiest
know,
way
the actual folks who certify you guys. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Hey, my name is Adam. You mentioned that the Wii Fit wasn't as successful as you had hoped. I was wondering if any of you guys have used or seen any video game related interfaces that have really helped the whole fitness side of everything. Have you ever seen a successful video game related product that has to do with fitness, or have they all fallen through?
I'm loving the PlayStation, the new stuff coming out on the PlayStation with the PlayStation Eye and some of that augmented reality. I'm hooked.
I love Wii Tennis. I play with my sons, you know. I think just simplicity, that's it. You know, I think for the tech guys, you know, the knowledge is just incredible in what's being created, but at the end of the day, it's got to be the Steve Jobs, open the box and play. You know, it just has to be that, even with fitness. I mean, he just, you know, figured it out that way, and I think it's a very simplistic yet realistic way to do it. I want to plug that game in and I want to play with my son. I don't want to sit there and go through 90 different, you know, instructions to get there. So, Wii Fit Tennis.
I don't remember the name of them specifically, but I think the new technology where you have basically the camera watching you and putting
Yeah, that's
you on the screen.
the Sony Eye camera. Or
I have played around with that
yeah.
a little bit, and I think it's very interesting because it gives that kind of feedback to a person that they typically could have only gotten with a trainer or maybe in a group fitness class previously, with seeing their form and getting almost instant feedback on how to correct it and how to do it
Microsoft
better.
Connect is another
so
one
that's
that-
kind of,
yeah.
I think, getting a lot closer.
Yep. Yeah. Did that answer your question? Yeah, I think when you can have that real-time feedback, and now another big trend is the trainers in New York and the clients in Ohio, and you are watching with the
You just
cameras.
Skype. I
You
mean,
can-
Skype
you're right.
now, I can train anyone anywhere, with video.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you three so much for coming here and being with us. Tom, Nicole, Ben, thank you so much. And one more reminder before Julie takes over, if you want to talk with these folks, meet us at the back of the room. Thank you so much.